Good evening and welcome to Channel 2 Radical 5 News. I'm Dick Butkus.
And I'm Shamali Nottingham.
Our main story tonight, the USS Maine. An impressive ship? Not anymore. It sank in the Havana Harbor after sailing from Florida. Leading theory is that the guns exploded, but others think that the Spanish, in a malicious attempt, destroyed the ship due to current relations between the US, Cuba, and Spain.
Yes, that's true. Last week, on February 15th, in this great year of 1898, the ship was sunk in a harbor in Havana, Cuba. The ship was sent there to assist with protecting American interests in the ongoing effort in Cuba for liberty from Spain. At around 10 p.m., the explosion occurred. Many crewmen were sleeping on board at the time of the disaster, and 260 lives were lost in the immediate explosion. 6 more were lost shortly after due to injury. It is as of yet uncertain as to whether or not more lives will be lost due to injury, but that situation is hopeful.
Yes, it is. It is, however, a very serious situation.
Of course. While the official cause is a buildup of gunpowder in the guns, many Americans believe the Spanish are heavily involved. Dick's all over the situation.
Well, Shamali, tensions with the Spanish Empire have been on the rise for some time now in America. The treatment of the people of Cuba has caused a great uproar stateside, and has made many Americans want to intervene. The plight of the Cubans, for many, has been likened to the struggle of our own forefathers in their fight for independence from the British Empire so many years ago. This feeling of patriotism and contempt for the unjust rule of the Spanish has caused great feelings of sympathy for the Cubans. The Cubans have been treated as though they are no more than animals. Their rebellions and uprisings for freedom have only angered the much more powerful Spanish war machine and have caused vicious retaliation. Because his efforts to quell the guerrilla warfare of the Cuban nationals has come short, the Spanish despot Valerio Weyler has instituted what is known to the Spanish as the Rey Concentrado. They have herded rural Cubans into concentration camps and treated them horribly. Another event that has raised U.S. anger towards Spain was the interception and publication of a secret letter by W.R. Hearst. This letter, sent from the Spanish diplomat at Washington, expressed great contempt for President McKinley. This letter, coupled with its publication by the famed yellow journalist W.R. Hearst, has only added fuel to the American fire of animosity towards Spain. Now, with the recent tragedy of the sinking of the Maine, one is led to believe that war will be inevitable with the Spanish. All of this has led to some high tensions in American citizens, many of them wanting war with Spain. Shamali has more.
Yes, Dick, the Americans certainly do feel strongly about the situation, but some of it may be unjustified. The use of what's being called yellow journalism has certainly played a part. Yellow journalism is a new style of reporting where facts are crudely exaggerated or outright falsified in order to gain interest of readers or viewers. Pioneers of this method, William Hearst and Joseph Pulitzer, have been publishing in their widely spread newspapers that the Spanish had a malicious assault on an American ship and that it was not an American fault. The situation is, to quote one of our reporters, kind of dumb. That reporter's really bad, horribly bad. So bad, if I had $1 for every time they were bad, I would have $1 because they're constantly just so bad. Nonetheless, the emotion aroused by American citizens due to these techniques is palpable and has made many want to go to war with Spain. The information, however, is largely false. It has been confirmed, in fact, that the sinking was not due to any sort of Spanish influence. Dick?
Yes, Shamali, it certainly is a situation with much confusion.
Just like my sexual orientation.
We'll be right back after this short break.
Does this ever happen to you? Well, it doesn't have to happen anymore. Now with the new iron-proof mask, you can put hot irons on your face for hours and not feel a morsel of pain. Side effects may include suffocation, asphyxiation, choking, loss of breath, lack of oxygen, lactation, and death. Do not give to children. No guarantees are made that pain will be stopped if iron is raised above 60 degrees Fahrenheit. For just 7 easy payments of $39.99, this can be yours. If you don't have a telephone, since it was only invented 22 years ago, you're out of luck. If you do, ask the operator for Not a Money Laundering Scheme Incorporated, and they'll patch you right through. Buy one today.
And we are back. Now we're going to go live to Andrew, who is interviewing Americans to see how they feel about the sinking of the USS Maine.
Thank you, Shamali. I am Andrew Filiberti, reporting to you live from the streets of Florida. I'm asking people their thoughts on the sinking of the USS Maine. What are your thoughts on the sinking of the USS Maine?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts concerning that issue. It just happened. Wasn't that just a recent issue?
2 weeks ago. How do you feel about the sinking of the USS Maine?
Well, Andrew, I'm glad you asked. This question has pondered me for years. I am still in shock myself that that ship sank. Okay, simply shock. Thank you.
How do I feel about it? A tragedy. By the Germans? Spanish. Didn't they speak a little German?
Probably. All right, let's go ask this lady right here. Sir, oh crap!
Thanks, you glorious man, you.
And now we're going to go live to our field reporter, Alex, who is on the scene in Cuba.
Thank you, Dick. I'm Alex Tackey, here interviewing Guadalupe Hidalgo Rivera Rodriguez Consuelo Smith, a local Cuban resident, on how he sees the crisis in Havana Harbor, the sinking of the USS Maine. Luckily, I speak Spanish and communicate aptly.
Actually, I speak English.
Marvelous. So this has a very profound effect on your country and the daily lifestyle of its citizens. With Spain being in control of Cuba as they are, how do you feel about it?
Honestly, it's still a shock, even though I dislike the Spaniards and they were pretty mean to us. I don't think they sunk the Maine.
Even though so many Americans think it was?
Even though?
I mean, I don't mean to tell you how to live your life, but I'd be pretty up in arms right now.
Why is that?
Because this could mean war between America and Spain, and with an individual as not fit and kind of terrible at outrunning the enemies as yourself, I think you're sort of nervous in a situation like war.
I see it as I see it. I find that very offensive.
I'm a news anchor, Guadalupe Hidalgo Rivera Rodriguez Consuelo Smith, not a kiss-up.
I'm fat because you're not a kiss-up?
You're fat because you live a life of inactivity and gourmet meals. Anyways, as our viewers are certainly aware of by now, this situation is escalating and lives of Cuban citizens such as this Guadalupe Hidalgo Rivera Rodriguez Consuelo Smith could be shaken completely if these escalations lead to more further conflict and confrontations, and strife and rivalries, and struggles and clashes continuing. If a war breaks out, God knows what will happen. On the topic of Americans, what do you think of the American people and America's efforts to assist Cuba?
I'm happy that America's helping us, but I'm afraid that Spain will connect us with them, and that because of that, they will treat us worse for that reason.
How has Spain been treating you? What's going on in that area? Are they giving you gift baskets and heart-shaped boxes of chocolates to show your undying love for you with their one and only significant other?
The gift is more like shackles and whips, and the chocolate are also like shackles and whips. And I think that the economic partner of them is a little teensy over it. And when Cuba formed a sort of rebellion, Spain didn't like that at all.
Back to you.
Well, Dick, all this talk is making me maybe think twice about looking into the boat industry.
Oh, really? Are you buying or just curious?
I guess you could say I'm bi-curious.
Regardless of what you are, it certainly is a rough situation for Americans, Spaniards, and Cubans alike.
I do like Cuban men.
That's good to know, Shamali. Tune in with us after this next break for our next story. Australia. Is it real? Or just a way for the government to make our kids homosexual?
If it is, it certainly worked on me.
We'll be right back.
I guess you could say I'm bi-curious.
Regardless of what you are, it certainly is a rough situation for Americans, Spaniards, and Cubans alike. Okay.
Game face.
This is the worst scene to have to film a bunch of times in front of your parents.
No! I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, I'm sorry!
Regardless of what you are, I certainly in high risk.
What?
Rough situation.
I'm good.
It certainly is
All
a
right.
rough situation for Americans.
Get out of here, you dirty mulatto.
Charge the battery pack. It wants me to charge it.
Okay, can you understand this? God damn it, Andrew.